Well, we have jumped into a sermon series about real and lasting change, which means we're digging below the surface of what we do and what we want, and we're really trying to get a hold of, but why do we do it? And why do we want it so badly? Which means we're now talking about motives, affections, and worship, which all takes place in the heart, below the surface, unseen by us or anyone around us. And yet God sees it and desperately wants us to see it. Because listen to me, that's where real change starts. When you begin to see what's going on in the heart. Maybe some of you have been Christians for years and you've thought, I just don't experience significant change. I don't experience the freedom I thought I was supposed to have. I don't have the joy. I don't have the peace. A lot of that might be tied to what's going on in your heart that maybe you've not yet discovered is a key to where your life goes and how your emotions go. Heart. Because as we're created in the image of God, human beings, we were created in His image and for His glory, which means we are by nature, from birth, worshipers. We want to make much of something. We lay hold of things and we treasure things. We prize things. We defend things. We push things up onto the altar of our heart. Problem? We often grab things in this world that look good and that even are good, but they were never designed to sit on the altar of your heart. They'll fail you. They cannot satisfy you. They cannot do what you're trying to get them to do. And so God's word has a term for this. Whenever something else is on the altar of your heart, God calls it idols of the heart. Where you've grabbed something in this created world and you're trying to get it to do for you what it cannot do and was not designed to do. And whenever you take something else in this world, even a good thing, and try to put it in that place, it becomes a really bad thing for you, for everyone around you, and for your relationship with God. In fact, I would tell it to you this way. When idols of the heart are at play in your life, it skews your view of everything that matters most in this world. How you see yourself, how you see others around you, and how you see and relate to God are all impacted by what's going on in your heart. Heart. There's worship and there's war going on in your heart constantly. Constantly. The heart wants to make much of something. And so I hope I don't need to convince you, message number 3 in this series, that this is a big deal. This is not like secondary. This is like, oh, well, maybe I'll deal with this one day, someday. This is huge. How you see yourself, how you see others, how you see and relate to God. And so in this message today, I want us to really go after it. And I want to try to answer this question for you so that you can do something about it. How would you spot an idol in your own life? What would you look for? Where would you begin? What would you do? Well, let's start by reviewing our definition of an idol. Let's review our definition of an idol. Say it with me. An idol is anything or anyone that begins to capture our hearts and minds and affections more than God. Say it again. An idol is anything or anyone that begins to capture our hearts and minds and affections more than God. It's living on substitutes. It's exchanging the one true living God for something in this created world. And whenever you do that, it won't work. Because watch what you just did. You've shifted from creator to created. From infinite, your heart has a capacity, a longing for something bigger, infinite. From infinite to finite. Oh, watch this. From glorious and all satisfying to very broken and very frustrating. You realize everything in this world, even good things, is broken. Even the best Christian marriage is broken. It leaks. It was never designed to fully satisfy. Children, work, everything in this world is broken and has a measure of futility and frustration built right into it, which is okay, which shouldn't be a showstopper if you're not looking to it for your deepest satisfaction. You can go on and say, oh, that's right. That's right. This is a fallen, broken world. It's groaning under the curse of sin. I've got something better. I'm being so satisfied here in my relationship with Jesus and knowing God through his Son, I can persevere in this marriage that isn't all that I want, with these kids that aren't, with this job, with this health, with this. But when you don't have this and you only have this, you're very frustrated. And so often that's what we have not yet discovered, and no one's helped us to understand. But what is going on in my heart? And here's where it gets even trickier. The bottom line for most of us as Christians, if you're sitting here and you're a Christian, you're like, Brad, I'm no idolater. I'm not worshiping something else. Let me help you. For most of us as Christians, it's not wanting the wrong thing. It's wanting even good things too much. Too much. Could you destroy a marriage because you've got a death grip on it saying, oh my goodness, it's got to look like this, and my husband should be discipling the boys, and he's not building a front porch with them, and we don't have farm animals, and he's not, because I read all these things, and he's supposed to, and all of a sudden, instead of appreciating the marriage you have, you're crushing the one because I want it so badly. And here's how it sounds. We say, well, what's wrong with that? All I want is a husband who would. And what you finish that with is, that doesn't sound heinous. All I want is a wife who, all I want are coworkers or a supervisor who would. But you want it so badly, you'll do anything to get it. You'll misbehave if you don't. You'll punish people if they won't. Here's what I love about history, if you'll read. Hundreds of years ago, the Puritans, they were actually really good pastors. The Puritans talked about this, and they called it inordinate desires. It's not that what you want is wrong. It's out of balance. The word inordinate simply means excessive, unrestrained, exceeding reasonable limits. Now here's the problem. Look at me. We all think what they're doing is excessive, unrestrained, and not reasonable. What I'm doing, it's within reason. We often need help seeing it, right? Do we ever think we're the problem? No. You don't see it. So ask God to show you. Remember, I gave you a prayer, Psalm 139, 20 through 24. Search who? Me, O God. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me. And then let me give you another one. Invite those closest to you who know you best and live with you to speak into your life. You're like, are you kidding? No, I'm really not. They see you in a way that you don't see you. They see things they would love. They're like, thought you would never ask. I never look at Vicky and say, hey, give me 3 to 5 things I could work on that would make me a better husband. She never says, oh, golly gee, honey, you're the best. I can't think of anything. She usually has something. And I have to limit it. No, just 3 to 5. Just 3 to 5. Don't overwhelm me, girl. It's like, right? Have we ever arrived? Bam! The Christ child? No. It's just like we don't see what others see. We certainly don't see what God sees. So let me ask you, is there something, even a good thing, in your life that you, without maybe realizing it, that you have pushed up onto the altar of your heart, and you've allowed that now to rule you, define you, control you? Even a good thing. Because here's what happens. If you do that, in a sense, that thing now becomes your litmus test, your measuring stick for good day, bad day. Oh, my husband was responsive. He used words with me. Oh, it's a good day. The next day he's up in his head. He's thinking about why the motorcycle won't start. He's not talking much. Bad day. Oh, my wife was good day. Oh, my daughter made a good decision. Oh, good day. Oh, she just made another bad decision. You see what's happening? If you attach your sense of this is the determining factor for joy, peace, good day, bad day to anything in this world, you will experience high highs and low lows. You want your life to level out some? Listen, this is part of it. you attach what matters most to you. Don't hear me saying, I don't care what you do, girl. Ruin your life if you want to. No. But you got to keep fighting to say, oh my goodness, my joy cannot ride on what my adult daughter does next. Or this will be strap on a really rough ride. Because she's finite. She's broken. I can't control her. You fill the blank with anything. Health, work, kids, you name it. Is something, even a good thing, on the altar of your heart has become the litmus test for good day, bad day, joy, not joy. And I hope you're digging in between these Sunday messages. Oh, if you want to see God do something, if you want to see greater freedom, if you want some help in understanding how to live life with more freedom, do some digging and thinking in between these messages. So I'm pushing you. Get the book. Get the book. Listen to it on audio if you need to. It's on audio. But listen and think and read some more in between. So this week, chapter 7 and 8, we'll address what I'm going to touch on today. How would you identify an idol in your own life? Download the study guide from my site, free, and use it in your quiet time. Look up some other verses. Answer questions that help you apply it to your life. Meet with a friend. And so let's talk this through. Let's wrestle with this some more. This cannot be the magic hour, you guys, where you're like, oh, I felt slightly pricked. And then after that, back to life. Keep thinking and wrestling in between these Sunday services and say, God, I would love for you to do something in me that perhaps has not happened yet, that I desperately need and want. There just might be greater joy and freedom on the other side of that. But trust me, it's painful. It's painful. And very often in physical things, right? Before things get better physically, sometimes there's a painful surgery and some drawn out painful rehab. Ooh. But it leads you to a better place, a better place, a better place. The same is true spiritually. As you begin to dig into this, if you're like, oh, I didn't want to see that, I didn't want to know that, this is not fun, and you draw back, say, God, help me, help me. So how would you spot an idol in your own life? I want to give you 4 ways that I think could help you track down an idol in your own life. Number 1, follow the trail of your time, money, and affection, because it always leads to the throne of your heart. Follow the trail of your time, money, and affection. It's not in your notes, but you might want to jot it down. Think about what Jesus said in the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew 6:21. Matthew 6:21. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. You realize heart and treasure run together? You can't see the heart, right? Can't see it, but guess what you can do? Track your treasure, track your time. Where's your treasure? Where's your money going? Where's your time going? Where's most of your affections? Where's it showing up? It's very likely heart is right there. Heart is right there. Heart is right there. Follow the trail. Where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Louis Giglio gets it right when he says, quote, some of us attend the church on the corner, professing to worship the living God above all. Others who rarely darken the church doors would say worship isn't a part of their lives because they aren't religious. But everybody has an altar, and every altar has a throne. So how do you know where and what you worship? It's easy. You simply follow the trail of your time, your affection, your energy, your money, and your allegiance. At the end of that trail, you'll find a throne. And whatever or whomever is on that throne is what's of highest value to you. On that throne is what you worship. Sure, not too many of us walk around saying, I worship my stuff. I worship my job. I worship this pleasure. I worship her. I worship my body. I worship me. But the trail never lies. We may say we value this thing or that thing more than any other, but the volume of our actions speaks louder than our words. In the end, our worship is more about what we do than what we say. And I find that there is a giant disconnect that we struggle with. If you've been in a good church for a while, and if you're sitting here, you're in a good church. If you've been at a good church for a while, you've been taught, you know the right thing to say. Guess what? You can keep saying the right thing long after you're no longer doing that. I can be as guilty as anybody. That's why I go away for days of prayer and fasting. That's why I keep saying, God, show me. Is there anything you want to show me about me that I've not been noticing? I've been moving too fast. I haven't been listening. That's why I try to invite others that work closest with me and live closest with me to speak into my life. Where is the disconnect? We're all guilty of it. Brad Bigney is not likely to start spouting heresy. Brad Bigney is still likely to just shift and drift and start actually living contrary to what he says. Can that happen? Can it happen to a pastor? Absolutely. It can happen to any human being who lives in this fallen, broken world and lives with this flesh that we have. This flesh, this that we contend with, that still wants to lay hold of something else. Let me put it to you this way. If somebody had been following you around this past week, following you, tracking with you closely, making notes, watching what you do with your time, what you do with your money, and where affections and emotions show up the most. Where there are eruptions of emotion, anger, fear, anxiety, happiness, sadness, what would they decide is most important to you? I'm talking about a video. They're not even listening. We don't need words. They're just tracking and watching. All we've got is video. What you do with your money, what you do with your time, and where do they see anger, fear, anxiety, sadness, happiness? What would they conclude is most important to you? Because time, money, and affection, all like a compass that points north, will point towards what's on the throne of your heart. Because when something's there, you'll be very fearful if it's threatened in any way. You'll get very angry if someone blocks you from it. You'll be very anxious if you think something's going to happen other than what you want to happen right there with that. Time, money, affection. And I know this can be dicey sometimes. I hear people sometimes say, "Oh, wow, Brad, what do you mean? I can't enjoy anything in life. As soon as I begin to love my kids, I'm an idolater. If I love the Bengals, I'm an idolater. Don't do that. I think you're big people. There are a lot of things in life, you guys, that are discernment is required. Think this through. It's not that you cannot enjoy anything. 2 Timothy 6 says he's given us all things richly to enjoy, okay? So I'm not saying, oh my goodness, I need to just praise Jesus and I can't love anything else. It's not what we're saying. But oh my goodness, it's a matter of inordinate. Where is it unrestrained? Where is it excessive? Where is it unreasonable? This is worth wrestling with. It really is, because it'll change your life. I've got to make sure that I simply enjoy things. God, you realize God's good? How many of you knew God's good? He's good. He's not a killjoy. It's like, oh, she's having fun. Let's kill that. Oh, she loves her kids. Take one out. Oh, he loves his grandkids. Snuff one of those too. That's not our God. He's good. And guess what? He's so good, he knows that we are miserable and destroy ourselves when we cross the line from simply enjoying and saying, thank you. This is a good gift. I love kids. I love grandkids. Last night I held my second grandchild. Oh, there's a love as I watch that little thing snort and just move around a little bit, pat her little bottom. She's 9 days old. Ooh, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with Pop's going over there and playing a puzzle with Jack and holding Emma and saying, I love being a grandchild. Problem? What if I start saying, those grandkids are my, you finish the sentence, life or world? Uh-oh. Pops will start doing some things he shouldn't do. Pops will begin to behave in ways he shouldn't. It's a matter of inordinate. Enjoy it. But if you make it a God thing that now controls you and rules you and defines you, it will destroy you and it will impact you, people around you, and your relationship with God. So as you think about that, let me give you some other clues to look for along the way. How would you know that you've crossed the line? How would you know if it's excessive? Well, listen, when idolatry kicks in, you will sacrifice for it. You'll spend time on it. You'll spend money on it. You'll talk about it. Now look at me. I gave you this list in the bulletin of things you could look for. Don't just pick one of those and say, oh my goodness, I just made a sacrifice for my kids. I guess they're idols. Anybody who's raising kids, will you have to sacrifice? Are you going to sacrifice multiple times to raise kids? Absolutely. What we're looking for, you guys, is a cluster and then an inordinate cluster of some of these things. You can't raise kids without making sacrifices, not if you do it biblically and you really love them. So be careful. Not looking for one thing. The danger when we head down this path, sometimes is now I feel like everyone's on an idol hunt, and they're just saying to each other, that's an idol, that's an idol, that's an idol. Just deal with yourself. We don't need everybody blowing a whistle, throwing a flag on the field with other people. Just say, God, why did I get so angry? Why can't I sleep? Why does my mind swirl with that? Let's deal with us and look for a cluster. You'll sacrifice for it. You'll spend time on it. You'll spend money on it. You're going to talk about it out of the abundance of the heart. You'll serve it. You'll protect it. You'll try to perfect it. You will think about it. You will build your schedule around it. You'll worry about it. You'll get angry if someone blocks you from it. Now, I'm going to say something that, again, I want to be careful. I don't want everyone in this room now to think, oh, we're all idolaters. For me, golf became this. Because so many of those things on that list were all wrapped around my golf game. I believe there's people in this room that can play golf to the glory of God. I am not one of them. All right? And I had to get honest. I was like, all right, wow. This, when you do something like golf or whatever it is, it's supposed to recreate you. God is not against recreation. That word literally means recreate. You stop doing what you normally do, and it's good to do something different, unless that something different begins to consume you and destroy you, right? And that's what I began to notice. I actually had fun with golf while I was terrible. When I was shooting over 100, 110, like, whatever. Then one of the worst things that could happen happened. I shot a 94. And I laminated the card. I was like, oh my goodness, 94? I want high 80s. Something terrible happened in my heart. I was no longer satisfied. And the harder I tried, the worse it got. If you've ever played golf, you cannot try too hard. You have to be relaxed. You have to act like you don't care. It just got worse. So now I'm spending time. It takes time, especially when you hit the ball that many times. It takes a while. I'm spending money. It's not free. No one says, hey, play free here. I'm building my schedule around it. I found myself on a blue sky day, I'm just being honest, on my way to work thinking, how can I play golf? I've got to get out of here. I want to play golf. Oh, I'll take my son. I'll call it father-son time. He can look for balls. I'll play golf. But really, I just want to play golf. I don't care if he drowns in the pond. I just want to play golf, right? I'll take a lost guy from church. It'll be evangelism. I don't care if he comes to faith in Christ or not. I want to play golf. How can I find a reason to exit the office, cancel everything I was supposed to do, and play golf? Because it's a blue sky, crisp golf day. My heart's beating faster. My flesh is longing. Oh, my. I'm building my schedule around it. Oh, I'm thinking about it. After I play, I would lay in bed at night, and I would revisit every hole. I would walk my way through it, what should have happened, what I meant to do, where that ball was supposed to go, what I should have done. I'm thinking about it. I'm building my schedule around it. I'm spending money. I'm spending time. Oh, it gets worse. I'm coming home, right? It didn't go well. I'm angry. Like when the putting was good, the drives are slicing. When the drives are down the middle, the putting's terrible. I'm putting 4 times on the green. I used to make fun of golf until I tried to play it. It's really hard. And then there's so much to think about. Is it my grip? Am I pulling up my head? Is it my shoulder? Is it my turn? There's only like 9,000 things to think about and correct. And so now I'm angry as I come home. Oh, but it gets worse. Vicky's going to say, how'd it go? I can't say terrible. She's going to say, then don't do it. You've been gone 5 hours. I'd love to see you. I lie. Great. Money, time, thought, schedule, anger, lying. This isn't good for me. And so I just took them, and I didn't throw them out. I just hung them on a hook in the garage. And I kid you not, there's a freedom. Oh, I just drive by golf courses now, and I'm like another woman. You don't own me. You got nothing on me. She cries out to me, no, I'm so happy without you. I'm so happy without you. I love, people in our church still like, when are you going to play again? Like, never. I am so happy not playing. It doesn't compare to what I felt like playing. I'm free. It owned me. It was consuming me. It was doing something bad to me. Does this make sense? I was like, just look for a cluster surrounding whatever that might be in your life. Let me give you another clue to look for. You'll live in fear that you might lose it. Oh, listen, one of the biggest indicators that an object or a person has begun to function as an idol in your life is that fear will become one of the chief characteristics of your life. I know we're frail. I know we're human. But you guys, again, we're talking about how much inordinate. We should not live dominated by fear, consumed with fear, especially since we have the Holy Spirit. And 1 John 4:18 says, perfect what? Love casts out fear. If fear consumes you, you really are not experiencing the love of God. You don't have something central on the throne of your heart like you should. I should not be consumed by, owned by, ruled by, defined by fear. And yet people just too quickly think, oh, okay, I don't know what's going on. Give me a med. Don't hear me saying it's a sin to take a med. Do hear me saying if you haven't done some heart searching, just taking a medicine that numbs you and settles you and you still don't know what's going on in the heart. What is it in your life? How are you processing life? How are you connecting the dots? What is it that you're maybe prizing, treasuring, building your world around that has led you to be this fearful? Because it's easily threatened, that thing in this world. And I live with constant, debilitating fear. Fear will become one of the chief characteristics of your life. So that you don't just say, the thought of losing that would be so hard. No, you say, my whole world would collapse. I would be, what's the operative word that we learned from Jeremiah 2? I would be what? Devastated. Remember Jeremiah 2:11-13, where God speaking says, be astonished, O heavens, be appalled, be shocked, be very desolate, that my people have exchanged my glory, the fountain of living water, for broken cisterns. That word desolate means devastated, crushed with grief, feeling forsaken. If those are emotions that you regularly experience, not just disappointed, crushed with grief, not just feeling lonely and out of sorts in life, but abandoned, not just knocked down and discouraged, but devastated, it may be that there's someone or something on the throne of your heart that should not be there. Let me show you what this looks like in the New Testament. Go to 2 Corinthians chapter 4, and it's not in your bulletin, so you might want to jot this down so you can go back and look again. 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verses 6-9. 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verses 6-9. Look what's going on here. Paul talking to believers. For God, who said, let light shine out of darkness, has shone in our hearts to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Jesus Christ. Look at me. If you're a believer, that means he's turned the lights on and he's allowed you to see the glory of God shone into your heart. And the glory of God is most represented by the face of Jesus Christ, the person of Jesus Christ. That's what you see and have now that you could not see before. You were blind. You were dead in your trespasses and sins. But when he saves you, when you're born again, boom, the light of the knowledge of the glory of God that's most found in the face of Jesus Christ. I have a Savior. I have a friend who sticks closer than a brother. I have someone who will never leave me, ever. I have someone who will not forsake me. I have someone who's a faithful lover. That's what you have. So look at verse 7. But we have this treasure in earthen vessels. He's saying, you guys, Jesus, The glory of God that's found in the person of Jesus is supposed to be your treasure. And the clay jar he's talking about is this frail body. So we live with a frail body, but we have a new treasure. We have a new treasure. And when you have a new treasure, it keeps you with normal, understandable, fallen, broken world emotions that do not cross the line into destructive places. Look what he says next. In jars of clay, to show that the surpassing power belongs to God and not to us. In verse 8 and 9, he's going to give us 4 characteristics of what will happen to us. He doesn't promise it won't. But then there's going to be 4 but nots. But not. You're going to be this. You're going to have this happen, but not this. But not this. But not this. So look at me. If you find yourself living regularly, yes, this, and yes, this, it's worth digging into your heart and saying, do I have the wrong treasure on the throne of my heart? Because I'm over here too often. Watch what he says at the beginning in verse 8. We are afflicted in every way. So see, this doesn't match the name it, claim it, blab it, grab it crowd, the best-selling Christian books that say, oh, you won't be afflicted. He never promised that. We are afflicted in every way. Say the next 2 words. But not, say it, crushed, but not crushed. Perplexed. It's okay to regularly say, I don't know what to do. I do not know how to respond. This is overwhelming. This is complicated. Yeah, you're going to have times you're like, I'm perplexed. But not driven to despair. Perplexed, but not driven to despair. Persecuted, but not, say it, forsaken. Struck down. Will you get knocked down in this life even as a child of God? Does he ever promise no child of mine gets knocked down? You get knocked down. In fact, Proverbs says a righteous man falls 7 times, yet rises again. It's not that we don't get knocked down. When you have the right treasure on the altar of your heart, you don't stay down. Because that thing was not what you were living for. That thing did not identify you. Your identity and security and all your assurance was not resting in that. You go down, but you don't stay down. Struck down, but not destroyed, which is another way of saying devastated. What about you? Everyone in this room probably would say, I can think of ways that I've been afflicted. But is it crushed? I can think of ways that I'm perplexed with my job, with my health, with my kids, with this world, with our nation. Me too. But are you driven to despair? Again, I want to poke a little bit. I've seen believers over the last 2 to 3 years, it looks like they're driven to despair. They are just running, screaming like the sky is falling over changes that have happened in our world and nation, and it looks like they're driven to despair. They keep saying they're not, but they sure are acting like they are driven to despair. Perplexed? Me too. Didn't see that coming. Driven to despair? No. Persecuted. More and more there's going to be things coming at you like, I think people are against me. But do you wake up thinking, I'm forsaken? I'm forsaken. My daughter, I need my daughter in my life. I need her friendship. I'm forsaken. Struck down, I lost my job. Found out I have prostate cancer. Found out my daughter has actually been lying to me and she's making really bad choices. Struck down. But destroyed? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? And the defining factor, you guys, is treasure. Where you are will be determined by where your treasure is and what's on the throne of your heart. So it's not like, what do I do to stop feeling so crushed? If you just try to control an emotion and say, I've got to feel differently, trying to change your emotions is very fruitless. You realize that? Emotions are fueled by what you are prizing and treasuring and worshiping and saying to yourself and believing and rehearsing and thinking you have to have. You want some emotions to change? Go to the heart and say, God, what's going on in my heart? Why did I get that angry that fast? Why have I been so anxious? Why am I ruled by fear now? What is going on? Follow the trail of your time, money, and affections. Number 2, take note of your heart during suffering. Oh, it's going to happen. We're going to suffer. We're going to face adversity. And here's what I would say to you. Don't waste your suffering. It is a great time to see what's going on in your heart. You realize that? You realize in most times, comfortable, easy times, the heart lies dormant, deep. And we don't know what's really going on. Look at this. Heat pushes heart to the surface. Heat. In the furnace of affliction, what comes bubbling up is heart. Heart. So it's a great time to see your heart. It's not fun, but it's a great time to see your heart during adversity and affliction. Suffering exposes our heart in ways that comfortable days cannot. And so say, God, God, I want to learn whatever you want me to learn through this. I want to understand more about my heart. I want to understand what I'm prizing and treasuring. I don't want to just get through this. I want to learn from this and be at a better place in the way that I relate to God and others around me and see myself. It was C.S. Lewis that said it well when he said, God whispers to us in our pleasures, speaks in our conscience, but shouts in our pain. Pain is God's megaphone to rouse a deaf world. I'd like to say that's only true of pagans, but can believers become deaf to what they should be hearing the most? Yes. The voice of God has become distant because we've leaned into the siren cry of something else in this world. And he's got to rouse us again. And very often pain will do it. Because no matter how long you walk with the Lord, when the heat of suffering lands in your life, you'll learn 3 things. You'll learn what you really love. When adversity hits, you'll find out what you really love, not what you say you love. Number 2, you'll find out what you really believe, not what you just say you believe. And number 3, you'll discover what you really run to for security and comfort. Where are you running? Where are you turning? Where are you going in the midst of heat and suffering? It's a great time to see your heart. And don't make this mistake. I hear this all the time. And I can be guilty of it as I have to catch myself from time to time. Don't be guilty of making an excuse and saying, don't decide what you think about me based on right now. This is just really a hard time. I'm in so much pain. These times are so scary. Guess what? The opposite's actually true, my friend. Now we know who you really are. It's not like adversity and heat creates or does anything new in us. It exposes and shows what was always there. I don't know about you. I don't know if you lost some friendships over the last couple years. Most people did. And you're like, oh my goodness, I didn't know that about her. Nothing changed her or him. I know family members who've had falling outs, friendships, churches. It simply exposed. That was true all along. And you just didn't know it until there was enough adversity and heat to expose it. Heat reveals heart. So don't say, that's not really who I am. My allergies are just killing me. This is just such a hard time with unemployment. What's coming out? What is bubbling up now is who you really are. And so, yes, I think 2020, 2021, 2022, those were the 3 hardest years I've experienced in ministry. I've been a pastor 37 years. Over the top, like on steroids. Sheep are sheep, and they've always done certain things, but they did it like on steroids in the last 3 years. Like, wow. Hard. But here's the way I see it. These past few years have been hard years. Guess what else they were? Heart years. H-A-R-D is what most often exposes H-E-A-R-T. Now you know. Now you know. And I'm not just pointing fingers saying, I'm so ashamed of some people in our church. I was ashamed of me. I saw things coming at me. I found out, I don't love as much as I thought I loved. God, help me to be a better shepherd. I think I love people who love me back and don't bite. I think I love people who do what I want. I think I love people who send me emails that say, we love you. And I struggle to love people who hate me. Oh, wow. I'm supposed to be able to love based on Jesus and persevere. And we all found out something about ourselves. Hard years are heart years. Look. Take note of your heart during suffering, and don't make an excuse, because think about it. Until you own where you really are, you can't begin to move to a better place. If you keep pretending, well, that's not really me, you'll never deal with it. No, that's you. I wish it wasn't true, but all right. God, grow me. Oh, God, it really, wow. Number 3, look for chaos. Look for chaos. You guys, idols and chaos run hand in hand. There'll just be confusion. There'll just be confusion and chaos. James chapter 3, verse 16 says, for where envy and self-seeking exist, confusion and every evil thing will be there. Some translations say, where envy and selfish ambition exist. That word selfish ambition means a strong desire to achieve or attain. I've got to have this. Confusion and every evil thing will be there. You see, idols don't run alone. They run with a herd of other sins. When you're guilty of idolatry, all kinds of other sins and confusion just shows up. You think about right now in your life, where do you have the most confusion relationally? It's very likely there's some idolatry at play there. With them, with you, or with both. When you just think, what is going on? What is going on? And we got a culture now that loves to quickly throw them into the camp of, well, they've got a chemical imbalance. Oh, he's bipolar. Oh, they've got mental health issues. Let me help you. There aren't as many bizarre people as the world likes to act like. If you could see their heart, it would make perfect sense what they're doing. Chaos and confusion surround idolatry. I'll give you an example in my own life. In the early years of our marriage, and I was unaware of this, my heart led me to a public outburst where I just went off on my wife publicly in Olin Mills. How many of you are old enough to remember when you had to go somewhere and take a family picture? We didn't have iPhones, kids. So every Christmas, my mom would make us load up. Oh, my goodness, we're in Knoxville. I've got kids. I don't want to do this. I've got to put on my Christmas sweater. We got to go to Olin Mills. We got to wait. And she doesn't buy the package. No, she just takes the free 8x10. That's it. And this took hours. So I didn't want to be there anyway. And I mean, right there with my grandparents, my aunt, uncle, my brothers, mother, father, other families that I don't even know, but they're still talking about it today. Remember that guy with the Christmas sweater that just went off on his wife? Oh, yeah. Yeah, he had a chemical imbalance. No. And you say, what in the world did it? It must have been something horrible. Vicky just stepped over to me and said, hey, on the way back to your parents' house, can we stop at the store and get diapers? I went off on her. You should have already thought about that. No, that should have been done. Frothy. She's just standing there. Everyone else, all conversation has ceased. Watch him go. Wow. Unbeknownst to me, you ready? I was guilty of the sin of self-pity, which had led me to create and build a fortress around the idol of, I deserve a break. I'm in seminary full time. We live in a mobile home that I'm trying to keep from falling apart. I'm trying to keep the car running. I'm balancing the checkbook. This is so hard. What'll happen after a while? You're feeling sorry for yourself, I deserve a break. Nothing else should be laid on me, especially those close. Notice how I keep saying, who suffers the most from your idolatry? Those closest to you that you actually say you love the most, get it. I'd built up a fortress around, do not add anything else to me. You should just relieve pressure from me, serve me. I'd never said it out loud. I'd never even sat down and articulated it to myself. But I'd been doing it. And then, because anger is simply the way I demonstrate you've broken the rules of my kingdom. So listen to me. Those of you that struggle with anger, get over thinking you just have an anger problem. You have a heart problem. Just memorizing some do not get angry verses isn't going to fix it. What is it you think you deserve? What is it you think you're entitled to? What are the rules of your kingdom that you've not written down or articulated? But that's what's going on. There's something you've decided, and when someone breaks those rules, you'll have my wrath to deal with. Does that make sense? Anger is simply a response to not getting what you think you deserve, what you think you have to have. Chaos. Follow the trail of your time, money, affections, see what's there. Take note of your heart during suffering. Look for confusion and chaos. What in the world? Number 4, ask yourself some heart diagnostic questions. I got 3 of them for you. Am I willing to sin to get it? All I want is, well, would you sin to get it? Am I willing to sin if I think I'm going to lose it? Sometimes it's something you have, and it's only when it starts to depart that you're like, whoa, 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 I still got to have that. And do I run to it as a refuge? Are you willing to work 70, 80, 100 hours a week to be the flavor of the month at work? Are you willing to cross the line ethically and lie? And they say, tell them the check's in the mail, tell them this. And you say, Brad, that's just the day we live in. You have to. Do you have to? Well, I won't move up. Yeah, you might not. Are you willing to sin to get it? Are you willing to uproot your family and move wherever? You don't check out, is there a good church there? Is there a good school system? What's the impact on my wife and kids with relationships? It's just the best next move for me and my career. Here we go. What about, are you willing to sin if you think you're going to lose it? It's easy to say, I don't worship my health. I haven't built when you have health. What about when you don't? When it starts to wane? And we live in a day now that I think the internet is a blessing and a curse. Medical professionals used to be able to say to us, da-da-da-da, and we don't know. And we're like, oh, we don't know. Going to trust God with that. Oh, no. We're going to the internet. We're going to the internet now. We're going to Google that. And somebody somewhere has an answer for this. If you're not, don't hear me saying it's wrong to go try to find help. But you can begin to take on an identity. My very reason for living now is to find a cure to this. I must have this removed. Really? One of the best things you might do after a while, my ear condition, patulous eustachian tube, I thought I was going to lose my mind. Everyone online that was in some group that had it said, I no longer work, I'm on disability, I don't speak, I don't want to be around people. I'm like, that's exactly what I'm feeling. But oh my goodness, I'm a pastor. I have to be around people, I have to speak. Whew. I went to ENTs, to ENTs, to ENTs. And finally someone said, you have this and there's no cure. But when I got online, there's somebody in Boston who would put a string in my ear and drip acid onto my eardrum and try to get it to curl up. It wasn't approved by anybody. Didn't sound like a good idea to me. But I could have just, and I said, Lord, I give you my hearing. I'll serve you in whatever condition you think would make me most useful to you. Are you willing to come to that point on some things? Or does it always have to be, oh, no. There has to be, I'm going to do anything if I think I'm losing this. And do you run to it as a refuge? Eating's not a sin, but just to eat for a quick hit of pleasure. Shopping's not a sin, but just the thrill of buying, and then when you unwrap it, there's the deflation. You've got clothes that still have the tags on them. You've got storage units to hold all the stuff. And it's just like I buy for the thrill. TV's not a sin, but to just binge and watch an entire season in one weekend because I don't want to think. I don't want to have to think about anything else or deal with anything else. False refuge. Do you run to it as a refuge? When you ask those 3 questions, what bubbles up to the surface for you? So what's the answer? Number 5, repenting and rejoicing in Christ is the way to get free. Oh, don't ever isolate the changing and growing process, you guys, from the context of your relationship with Jesus. Look at me. Don't just try to kill idols. Cultivate intimacy with Jesus. Cultivate, or you'll find something else right back on the throne. You want intimacy with Jesus, prizing and treasuring him, knowing him, delighting in him, tasting and seeing that he's good. As we close, go to Colossians 3. Let me show you how this plays out. Colossians chapter 3. Colossians chapter 3, verse 1. If then you've been raised with Christ, talking to Christians, seek the things that are above where Christ is seated at the right hand of God. Set your mind on things above. Notice whose choice it is. It's yours. Set your mind on things above, not on things that are on the earth. For you have died, and your life is hidden with Christ in God. Oh, look at verse 4. When Christ, who is your life, appeared. Notice Paul doesn't say, when Christ, who one day will be your life, because right now work is your life. Right now grandkids is your life. No. When Christ, who is your life right now, that's supposed to be the condition that we live in as believers, with him being our greatest treasure. When Christ, who is your life, appears, then you will appear with him in glory. And then he tells us to go to work and put to death these other things that are trying to call out to you and trying to get you to build your world around it. When Christ, who is your life, appears. It's the same thing that Paul said in Philippians 1:21. For to me, to live is Christ. If you were honest, how would you finish that sentence? For me to live is. And if I were to ask people around you who know you well and watch you, how would they finish the sentence and describe it? Oh, for her, for me to live is. Oh, God, thank you for the treasure of Christ. God, thank you for your Spirit living in us. Thank you for direct access to your throne. And oh, God, help us to see what we're not seeing about ourselves. Help us to be more aware of what's going on in our heart, where we've shifted or drifted. And oh, God, help us to taste and see how good you are in your Son, to come back to the glory, the light of the glory of the knowledge of Christ, and to prize it and to treasure it so that we can hold these things in this world more loosely. And we can level out the high highs and the low lows. And we can live with greater freedom for your glory and make a difference in this world. We pray in Jesus' name, amen.